ride, steep grade up ahead, slow me down and making no time. Gotta keep on rolling. Those are windshield wipers slapping out the tempo, break the perfect rhythm with the song on the radio.
Hey everybody, what's up? I was doing one last thing and I am done. I was putting us live on Instagram. That's the second time I've done that. So those of you, if anybody is watching on Instagram, there is no connection between the comments. So if you're commenting on Instagram, we won't see it here on StreamYard. Just pointing it out. But I'm just testing the waters here. On Twitter, for those that are curious, they have added the integration of bringing comments in from Twitter finally. Because I used to have people tell me I'd comment all through the lives and you guys never said a word. I'm like, I didn't see them. Now we see them. So hopefully Instagram will have that fixed too. I like that new feature. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rideshare Rodeo Roundtable. Let me introduce
Tony
our
just
panel.
said, real quick, Tony just said, I'm live on Instagram. Can you see this?
Yeah, but it shows as YouTube.
I know, but we can still see it
Yeah.
on StreamYard.
That's weird because usually the logo should be the Instagram logo. It shouldn't be the YouTube logo.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I do see it, but even the videos for
Sorry,
StreamYard
He said,
say-
sorry. Really, Tony? Here I was all serious about it. I'm like, oh, maybe it is working.
Damn it, we're in the middle of an intro here. We're trying to get the show rolling. At least wait till we're like in. Good night, guys. Okay, let me get back to where we were here. So Kim's side money plans. And I want to see if he changed it yet. Oh, he did. Rideshare podcasts. Tom Kelly on the far end. Right below me, we got Dash Theory TV. And we got Gig Work Mama right next to it. So before we go any further, Kim, I got a quick question for you. Are we halfway there?
Halfway there with what?
Because we are living on a prayer.
I totally
I was
didn't
doing
get
that.
that.
Kim and I had an inside joke going there a little bit ago. So.
I totally didn't get that for a half a second. Whenever I say, I'm like, whenever someone asks me like where I'm at, I'm like, I'm just like a mile away from Bon Jovi. It's nothing.
Right. I mean, so what happened, guys? Just in a quick nutshell, I was talking to Kim Cavan, and there's some stuff going on in Kim's state of New Jersey, and Kim had information out about you need to write one of these three people depending on where you lived. I didn't know which one Kim fell under, so I asked Kim Cavan, well, she lives here, who does she need to contact? She told me, and she said, oh, I grew up right near there. She said, that's a Springsteen country. And then Kim was like, no, I live by Bon Jovi. So it became this, I don't know, I was out of the mix. I mean, because I know both those musicians are from there, but like where they are, I have no idea.
We were talking Bon Jovi talk. Come on.
I mean, but where what that means between you got to live in a state to understand it.
How do you not know
I
Bon
mean,
Jovi?
on
You know
those
Bon
kind of
Jovi,
levels.
and
Like
you
I
don't
know
live in
those
the
musicians are from there, but I'm just saying. Guys, hit that like if you haven't already, and let's shout out to chat before I get thrown off by Tony again here. What's up, Carnifage? Hello. Hey, Thomas. What's up, Scrabble? Hey, Scrabble. Thank you. Scrabble and I had a really good conversation about some independent contractor stuff. For those of you that don't know, she also has a lot of traditional IC like I do prior to. So we had a really good conversation on what was it on Ron's stream on Dasher Life Hawaii. But what's up, Thomas? What's up, Rick? By the way, guys, and I hope Rick doesn't mind this. I don't think he will. Rick, you can be mad at me if you are, but I think it's important we point this kind of crap out. Rick got deactivated, and he's one of the one. He has no idea why. He got Doordash deactivated. He has no clue why. I mean, he's in one of those phases where it just happened, and
Can
it's
he go
like,
through
hey,
legal
we'll reach out in 5 days. Right. I mean, exactly. You know, like, hey, oh, I didn't even think of that. Rick. Yeah. I mean, Rick watches everything most of the time, but Rick, you know, reach out to Legal Rideshare for sure. For sure. But at the same time, you know, like who knows? Because in 5 days, he might just be reactivated. I just hate this system. Like here he is, you know, like well, why am I deactivated? I mean, it's almost like even the people who are who should be deactivated maybe don't remember why. It's just so apparent everywhere. You need to tell them why they're deactivated. Like, you know, it's not, I mean, I guess you do. Maybe Tom has a view on this too. Like, is your opinion that the only reason that they don't is because then you have something to say to a lawyer?
Maybe.
Like you could say, hey, they said I was deactivated for this. I didn't do, and that maybe causes more. I don't know. That's the only thing I can come up with. Otherwise, why wouldn't they just say, because you're a shithead? Or, you know, we don't like you.
I think it's because also if they give them a reason, then they have somewhere to dig. Whereas if they don't give you a reason, now you're thinking about like all of the different reasons why you can be deactivated.
Right.
I think they're taking it at will to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Edward, how are you? Tony, I'm not even saying hi to you. Well, I am, because Tony, I hope you're feeling better too. I hope you and the family are all feeling better. Hey, Miko, how are you? And Tom, oh, yours does still say Truckers Podcast. I was looking over there and it says it correctly. Tony's prank. Traveler, what's up? Zach knew. He was living on a prayer.
See, you got it. New Jersey, he's from the West Coast.
Thomas, wow. Because Thomas is New Jersey too, right?
Yeah.
Hey, even Oscar, how are you? That gig life, how are you doing? And Rick, because the 6 don't need a reason.
No, because they don't need a reason.
Oh, I must be missing on something. Oh,
that was for the deactivation. Why they don't tell us?
Yeah. Okay, so now we're caught up.
And by the way, just to confirm, I did open up IG to see, and I tested it, and no, the comments really do not go through.
Oh, right, but they show up in Instagram though.
They show up in Instagram, yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The problem with that is that I don't know if you guys have ever been on Twitter lives. The problem is that even if you are chatting, it goes away. You have to like tap it twice and then like expand it to even scroll back at all. And you have to hold it too if you do want to read anything, because they just disappear. And so if it's not coming here to StreamYard either, and it's not addressed, why would people watch on the platform?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're asking questions and it's like, well, nobody's listening to me.
No.
So
exactly.
like even if even if I had Instagram open on another device right here, most likely, I mean, because they disappear, I wouldn't see it.
Yeah, you'd need somebody else to like moderate, like so before Dash Humor was on there and they said, can you see this? They can't see us.
No, on Instagram we can't see your comments, guys, but you can see us. So.
Yeah.
It's almost like Instagram's advertising for you to get off their platform and go watch it live somewhere else.
Well, technically, I think it's because Instagram is still working out the kinks, because they didn't have their API open for the longest time. This is just very recent. So I think they're kind of working out the kinks of how live video works on their platform versus others. Yeah, when I was hooking it up, it also said that after an hour, it ends it. Or it says most likely at an hour, it'll end. Sometimes it said sometimes not. What? So, very specific. But yeah, guys, there's a few things. So, I mean, the first 2 things I want to talk about, they're both Uber related. There's been a couple different people talking about these, but I think this is worth talking about because it's more of I think some people just read this and thought, well, that's weird. What are they doing? And I think we're used to that because like Uber bought Autonomous and, you know, what they do with it. They were like 396th out of 400 and how well they do Autonomous. So they bought a company, but it's like, who cared? You know, they were going to have VTOLs, but it became Uber Helicopter and they only even had 2 of those. So it's like, who cares? All these are just stupid projects that they don't really care about. This Drizly thing is actually a little scarier than that.
there's articles everywhere. I'm sure you guys have seen it. What has happened is that in 2020, about a month after stay-at-home orders, maybe like early May, Drizly began, and it was in March of 2021 that Uber bought them. And during that time, when Uber bought them, they bought them for $1.1 billion. That's a lot of money to acquire a business. But Drizly, I always tell you guys about these liquor deliveries. Make sure that your tip's certified. Make sure you look into it in your state. Don't trust these apps because they never tell you anything. We should be used to this. But Drizly, if you don't know the original model, I was even a little thrown because I didn't know this. The original model of Drizly was built more for here. How did they word it here? Because I liked that. So Drizly was always a bit of an odd match for Uber in that it didn't hire or contract its own delivery workers. Instead, Drizly provided back-end tech that let local liquor stores provide their own deliveries. So during the pandemic, nobody was allowed to go to liquor stores because you couldn't go anywhere. Even when they were allowed to be open, it was like 2 people in at a time. Everything was wrecked. We all know this. So what happened was Drizly saw that window and they said, hey, most of these places are just closed anyway. Why can't they just deliver them? So I think that a lot of owner-operator liquor stores, and if you guys aren't familiar with packaged liquor, a lot of times it is somebody owns it and they're there 6 days a week, and maybe 1 day a week there's another guy there. And they have one employee part-time kind of thing. But usually they run it themselves. It's usually kind of like just, this is my chill business. And so the pandemic, of course, if you're closed and you can't come in, but Drizly comes around, they say, hey, we're going to let people order from you and you specifically if they like your store or whatever, and then you can figure out getting it to them. Okay, that worked out. Then Drizly went as far as to do this integration software where people could actually through the app, people could order their liquor, their beer, to their liquor store, and it was going through to that liquor store, and then the liquor store took care of it. Now Uber bought it, and kind of like with Corner Shop, they did their thing with it for a little bit. Well, after 3 years, they just, not even 3 years, 2 months, or is it like a few months short of the 3 years they would own it, they just shut down Drizly. So what does that mean? It means that Drizly orders that the liquor store software now sends their orders through are going to Uber, and now they'll show up in the Uber Eats side of things, just like Corner Shop did and all that. It's just going to all be in one, but it still remains the problem that when it was Drizly, everybody that was an owner, maybe even of a liquor store or an employee, they are all either tip certified for service, or they are tip certified for packaged liquor. So they were all doing it legit. Now it's Uber pushing these orders through and saying, hey, you can deliver these here, go ahead. But like always, and it's just the way of Uber, guys. They're not going to tell you, by the way, you need to have, because we all know this, they love playing both sides of that independent contractor card as hard as they can. So on this side, they're saying, dude, you're an independent contractor. That's up to you to know your business. And I'm telling you here right now, if you've been delivering liquor, with the Drizly going down, I don't really know. We were all talking before we started about liquor licenses and how hard it is to acquire a new one. I mean, to me, it's like, yeah, they have the Drizly one, but that's to protect Uber, not the driver. So I don't know. To me, I won't do any booze. And you know me, you guys have worked in the bars for many years. I haven't done it, period, anyway. But now I think it's as sketchy as it's ever been. And I just wanted to put that out there because clearly Corner Shop was doing very well in Peru and up through South Central America. And Uber said, no, we're going to need that because we're going to be taking over the world here soon. Okay, so that happened. And so now they took Drizly for $1.1 billion. That's a lot. And now this is kind of wild, you guys. So since November, and it's been kept very hush-hush, Uber is looking to purchase Instacart. So it's the 800-pound gorilla and a maple bear. But so since November 8th, the CEO, what is his name? Fiji Simo or something. He's the CEO of Instacart and Maple Bear, which owns Instacart, and they're in talks since the 8th. Things were paused, but they knew. But so there was an analyst that put out something about the merger of these two January 17th, yesterday, entitled, "What do an 800-pound gorilla and a maple bear look like together?" So, which I found pretty interesting.
Actually really creative.
Yeah. But yeah, so now, where was the price though? So who upgraded Instacart to outperform pure performance with $35 price target? Okay, so I think that's like where they're targeting, and I can't find it at the moment, but Instacart is offering them, or Uber's offering them $40 a share on what is just under 35 right now. So again, the reason all these tie together, Corner Shop, Drizly, what would be the logical thing if Uber buys Instacart?
Oh my God, they're going to shut them down for sure.
For sure. I mean, before the year ends even, because we're so early in the year, they'll just end it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And just redirect the traffic into Uber.
But this is what I don't get. So I don't know if you guys noticed. So the Bloomberg market share came out, what was it, 5 days ago, 6 days ago, something like that. Just because I was doing research for a video I was doing. And Doordash is still 66% of the market share. I'm going to be honest. I thought Uber would have at least raised even the slightest bit just based off of them acquiring Corner Shop last year and all the other merchants they've been acquiring. They're still sitting in the 20s. So
but you're talking about food delivery space.
But if you looked at the Bloomberg report, they could not distinguish between food delivery and grocery delivery. So in the Bloomberg report, it's actually combined into one because they couldn't differentiate their sales between grocery and food delivery.
Really?
Did they say that for both platforms though? Because here's the thing, because like DoorDash kind of like I could see them go, whatever, dude, that's just, we don't care, that's just one number. But like with Uber, it is separated and that's public document. They should be able to. I don't know. I got to say that's just bad reporting because you can go find that exact number.
I'm just going by what I read.
No, I mean, and I hear you and I believe you. I'm just, and why, I don't know. I mean, that is less market share than they had.
Right.
So DoorDash, I mean, they are losing market share.
No.
The only reason they're gaining is because Grubhub and some of the others have.
Actually, Grubhub gained, if I remember correctly, Grubhub gained last year. They were at 6%. They went to 8%. And then I know DoorDash was at 66%. And then Uber Eats was at 20-something.
The other thing is, what are you doing? Is this 22 to 23, right?
Yeah.
Year to year. So in 22, there was a ton more volume on all of them.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's the latest. Literally, it's the latest report that has just come out.
Share was out of hundreds of millions of orders. Now the last year, it's out of like 50 million.
Yeah.
There's less orders, and it wasn't just the end of the year. There's been less. I mean, there was less. It's like when you see the I think Tom and I have talked about this before. When you see the performance of the stock market, like during the pandemic. And you see, like, damn, that stock spiked today. None of that matters until you go look at what the volume traded was. Because if the volume that was traded was like 5 shares, then who cares what it did?
the thing with
The
this,
volume
though,
was like during the pandemic, the volume was very low, is my point. So when you'd see these major jumps, were they really because you didn't have much trading going on?
I guess my concern from being from a driver's, I guess, perspective is right now, food delivery, at least for me during January, is keeping me afloat in making money. Like Instacart has picked up, even doing orders on Uber Eats and Doordash. Like it's literally has been about food, I mean, grocery delivery for the past like 2-3 weeks. I feel like it flipped because it's January, right? So food delivery goes, grocery delivery goes up because people are eating healthier. So if Uber Eats takes away Instacart, they already took away Corner Shop. Like the grocery delivery game for a driver is now becomes shorter, where to me, it's a booming business right now. It's kind of, to me, the wave of the future because people can skimp back on food delivery. A lot of times people can't skimp back on grocery
Hence
delivery.
why Uber's offering more than the company's worth per share, because they know there's growth there.
They know it. They really want it.
I mean, here's a comment from Scrabble. And so I'll say this, like, so here's a perfect example because I actually understand how the Postmates thing works. Postmates was all over the place. Postmates is in only a handful of cities now. Like it was here, but it's not, you can't get Postmates here now. But in some cities you can still get Uber Eats or Postmates. The way that they did that was more Postmates being used in that area than Uber Eats. And if it was, they kept Postmates around, and it's just an interface. It's just the app. It's just a paint a coat on the Uber app that says Postmates now.
Yeah. Hey, John, have you seen like Spark increase over the past like couple of weeks?
I wouldn't say necessarily I've seen increase. I've seen like more. I've seen some big orders here and there, but I wouldn't say I've seen an increase in volume.
I mean, John, you've dropped a couple videos lately, though.
Yeah,
on some things relative to Spark, right? I mean,
lately, the biggest things I think that are with Spark right now, I think probably the biggest thing was Uber Lyft Phoenix's video with the scammers. But right now, not a lot of new things with Spark. Lately, it's just been kind of seeing what the first days of 2024 have been like. The most recent one, I was doing some Walmart Spark at a neighborhood Walmart. And so that one was a smaller store. The neighborhood Walmarts, they don't have the like the electronics and all the stuff that the super Walmarts have. So
if we would have done this on Monday night, and Curry's been good to me, I talked about it on Last Mile yesterday, but if we would have done this on Monday night, I would have said, wow, this year's starting off just as bad as last year. And part of it is the independent contractor stuff going on and stuff too. I know a lot of you are hesitant on what that is. It is very deep and it's very impactful. In fact, so like if you're underplaying it and you think I'm overplaying it, find a balance between us at least in your head, because don't want you to get knocked on your ass by this one. It's very real.
I don't know if you want to highlight the comment from Rick at 917, but he did a few Drizly orders on Uber Eats last week. Not that, Rick.
Mm-hmm. You said 917, right?
Yes. Rick Quattlebaum.
Oh.
Yes.
Sorry.
So it's already in there.
Well, it's been in there. You've been able to do liquor. It's not like they've been gone for the last 3 years. They've been there. They've just been doing it as I mean, has nobody taken a liquor order through Uber?
Yeah, I have with food.
Yeah,
right.
I can't think of any. Nah, I don't think I'm on Uber Liquor.
Yeah. Oh, so
I can't even toggle that, which is so crazy.
My point is, I don't think you can get on, since, I mean, I might be wrong. Somebody correct me if I am, but I don't think, like how Scrabble's saying there's still Postmates, I don't think you can go get on Drizly like even a year ago. Yeah. I think it would have redirected you to get onto Uber.
Well, with Corner Shop, when they closed off Corner Shop for the customer, so we could still, as the driver, we can still go into the Corner Shop app. And sometimes, because there was one store, Costco was the last one to switch over. So you can still get Costco orders through the Corner Shop app, but it kept telling you, because even on the customer side, I ordered it once. It keeps telling you, we are transferring to Uber, we are transferring to Uber, we're transferring to Uber. And they would send you like coupon codes by email so that you can order it on Uber. And then after a while, the Corner Shop app just stopped working on both the driver and the consumer side. So most likely,
at some point when they actually do pull it, they got to pull it. But
exactly. So this might be the same thing.
That's weird, because we all know you can take Uber and go roam around with Uber Eats. I could go visit all of you, maybe not Cheyenne because she's in a different country, but I could go visit the rest of you and I could turn my Uber Eats on.
Yeah.
Okay, so you now 100% for sure you can't do that with liquor.
No.
I mean, you already can in your own state, but I'm really trying to define it to you guys how much you can. Well, I can't be traveling around the country delivering liquor in every state. I don't know the laws.
Liquor just came to New Jersey less than a year ago, but I'll be honest, the only liquor orders I ever see are actually on Instacart and going to like actual liquor stores like Total Wines or stuff like that, and delivering them. I've never honestly done them because I don't want to, but that's the only thing I actually see alcohol being delivered on.
So yeah, my question Rick, you said you did a few. Here's my thing. Did you look into it? Do you know that you need to, I don't know what state you're in, but do you know you need to be tip certified? And even if it's not called tips in your state, whatever it's called something, because I've worked in that liquor industry for many years. You need to be certified to either handle alcohol in a bar or restaurant or package certified or whatever. But every state has some type of certification you need to have. And if you don't have it, it's not legal to be delivering liquor, even though you're doing the ID thing, you're doing this game. And I only point this out, we pointed it out before too, is because this could get you in a shit ton of trouble, you guys. I mean, this could be I hate saying it this way, but this could be a life ender. I mean, you could get sued for an amount, millions. Uber's going to turn their back on you. Your insurance has definitely not got your back at all on liquor. You can bet on that. But I mean, unless you think Uber's a very upfront, honest company, I would be very careful about doing liquor deliveries for Uber. Period. Even if you are tip certified. Because I just know how these platforms work. If you get into an issue, if some kid's having a party and he gets an adult to answer the door, run his ID, get the liquor, some kid gets in a car and drives and dies, they will try and blame everybody, and they'll find out it was ordered from Uber Eats. They'll try and blame them. They won't be able to. We've seen it with the autonomous drivers in John's neck of the woods. They left her out to dry. If you don't think they're going to do that to a liquor driver too, of course they are. That's why they let you check the ID. They can say, we don't know. We didn't do anything. We're just a dispatch company. So my point is, I won't do it. Never have. I don't like to tell you guys what to do, and you don't have to do it, but I would really push on that one. Just don't do it. I mean, unless you've really, really thought it through, unless you feel so certain, unless you are certified correctly. And like me, even me, look at me, I've worked in the bars for 20 years plus, and I won't do it. I am certified. I won't do it. So that should tell you something, because I feel comfortable with that stuff too. I'm not going to go, you don't know what you're walking into either. You could be delivering liquor to a couple who ran out of liquor that are having a domestic dispute by the time you get there because they're sobering up and punching each other. And you're walking into some wild scenario. I mean, I'm just telling you, I've seen it all, and I just am trying to warn.
So, funny thing.
I got to let somebody else handle that question because this one, Tom, you want to go with this?
Which one?
This one up on the screen, they can sue my LLC. Have fun. Yikes.
Whoa.
I think he's saying that like he has an LLC, so
Right.
it'll protect him from this. I guess what I'm stating is liquor law ain't gonna be. You're not gonna be protected without all the correct licensing.
Right.
Under an LLC. I don't know.
Correct.
Maybe.
So funny thing, I just looked up because I think it was Traveler that said that it's not required in New York. So I was looking up for here. And I know that I personally don't need to do, like on the apps, I just had to fill out the form to say, okay, I want to deliver it or I don't want to deliver it. I know in Ontario, you need to get SmartServe certified, which I actually am SmartServe certified. So, okay. But I looked on Skip's website and they said you don't need a certificate or permit to be able to deliver alcohol. However, when you go on to the alcohol laws website, it states that for Quebec, you actually do need a permit to produce, distribute, deliver, store, and sell alcoholic beverages in Quebec.
Yeah. So my question to Traveler, he's in Syracuse, New York, is I would say, call your licensing building, your state licensing building, and ask them if you can be delivering liquor, even if there was some wordage like Cheyenne just said in the app. Because again, in the app, they're just trying to they're saying, hey, we have this available now, and they're kind of saying without saying it, but I hope you have all the right things you need because you're an independent contractor, remember?
Yeah, it literally says so they put all of the provinces and the ones that actually have a permit that you need, they tell you have to be this certified, you have to be that certified. And then for all the others, it just says you have to be over 18 and fill out this form. So you would think, okay, this is perfectly fine. But when you actually look into it, no, you need a permit. So all the alcohol deliveries that I was doing, because I was oh, whatever, I filled out the form and technically I am SmartServe certified in Ontario, but here in Quebec, I'm not covered.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my point. I'm here in Colorado, but what if a lot of people do travel and do other apps in other places. What if I go to, around me, the close states are all boring. What if I go see Tom in Houston? Colorado's awesome, but we're surrounded by a bunch of Nebraska's just 500 miles of corn. But if I go down to visit Tom and in Houston and I turn on the app and I take liquor delivery, I in no way am certified in Texas. I don't even know if Texas has laws, but if they do, I'm in no way certified to take that.
Check out the link I just posted.
I can't because it's like this. It's in StreamYard.
Yeah.
Why would you find there?
On YouTube.
Okay.
So that gives you kind of a starting place for finding out what's going on. But you're right, Stephen, that it says every state has its own rules for alcohol delivery. In Oklahoma, for example, a qualified restaurant employee must perform the delivery. Michigan allows restaurants with on-premises liquor license to use third-party delivery companies. North Carolina, alcohol laws are still in flux. So this gives you kind of an overhead. Here in Texas, you've got to take the TRAD course, Texas Responsible Alcohol Delivery Training course.
Mm-hmm.
So until you have your TRAD certification, you won't be able to deliver alcohol in Texas. So
a lot of this, you guys, too, is over serving. And that even means if I was delivering to Tom and I'm delivering packaged liquor and I think he's too inebriated to sell to him, I have to treat that like when I'm being a bartender. I can't sell Tom liquor if he can't pull his ID out of his wallet and he's bumping into walls. I'm supposed to know that from these certifications, and I'm not supposed to serve him. Same as, even though it's his house, I'm not supposed to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And based on weight,
they don't tell you this stuff.
They don't.
And they don't tell you about these certifications. And it's always the case with Uber. But this is a big one, guys, because this one could just wait. To me, it's like Uber Teen. It's like, just wait till the kid is raped, molested, and killed.
Yeah, Tom put up some good information. And when you really think about it, most drivers are not certified, period.
No. And I'm surprised that I haven't been able to look yet, but I'm surprised that if Tom has a link from Grubhub, even. You know, I mean, that's pretty good of Grubhub to put any information up on it, because they're one of these companies too. Or I guess they're never planning on doing it, so they put the information up. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying to you guys that, you know, be very, very, very careful. These companies never watch our backs. We know that, but the liquor, I just wanted to make sure to point that out, because it's a big deal. You could get in a lot of trouble. Like, and I don't mean slap on the wrist, deactivated trouble. Like, you can end up in court. And I know this from being a bartender. Like, you're responsible for the people you're serving.
Yeah.
Not 100%. They can't come and say, you sold them beer, you're going to jail. But trust me, you can get pulled into stuff where you're like, dude, I didn't do nothing. What are you talking about? So that's at that, I'll just leave it. I just wanted to tell you guys, you know, there's these mergers going on. Clearly, we've always known Uber is global. And I'll even go as far as to say this, if you're not so sure on how Uber was going global. So here's 2 comments I want to make too because this Seattle legislation with food now, New York, California, all this stuff. So here's my comment to any food platform that could potentially hear this at all. If you food app platforms, delivery platforms, gave a crap at all about the tip, this is tipping now, you would do it across the board, because they've now come out with all these reasons why the tipping needs to be after the fact. But guess what, guys? It's only in the legislation states. Come on. If you really cared about that and you really thought, hey, for the customer's sake, this is better. No, that's not true. You're doing it because it's in the legislation states. Otherwise, you do it in all 50 states. If you really believed that. And then the other thing I'll say is, when an Uber initially launched, don't forget that tipping in the app, for those of you that weren't around, weren't doing any rideshare or even that familiar with it, tipping wasn't allowed for a long time. Not in California, not anywhere, not when it came here. Even when it came here in 2014 and Uber launched, you couldn't tip in the app, but you were being paid a percentage. Like, I was getting 85%. Uber was taking 15. Let's look at that difference now. I mean, so every trip was worth taking. That was Travis Kalanick. A lot of people don't like him because he's a womanizer and a partier, and he gets in those kind of problems. In all honesty, I'd rather have that guy at the helm who actually gave a crap about drivers, believe it or not, more than most. But I'd rather have him at the helm, because why was he not doing tipping but trying to pay well here in the United States? Because he knew Uber would go global. We're one of the only countries that tips. He thought, let's just build it without tips from the beginning. Because why? So even when Lyft launched, Lyft started tips immediately. And every investor with Uber was telling Travis, we need to go to tips. We need to go to tips. It took him about a year to go to tips. He still believed that concept of no. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that, you know, those are the ones thinking global. And now Uber, you know, different people running it and whatnot. But if you're listening to what we're saying here tonight, clearly, you know, they're trying to take over the world. You know, I mean, at least the gig world. I mean, let's be honest.
They are. We've
always kind of figured it, you know, but I mean, thank you, Thomas, very much. I appreciate the tip alert. But yeah, so I mean, like, look, if Uber, I mean, I don't think anybody who does food delivery is going to say, I do, not many anyway, some will. I do a lot more Uber Eats than DoorDash. Most people I talk to say I do way more DoorDash than Uber Eats. I know, I knew you were going to be. But that's because you live in Canada too. And for some reason, you guys, your view, you've even expressed it here on the Canadians' view on DoorDash just isn't how we view it.
Yeah, no.
Like for some reason, it's not, like Kim was saying, it's not the market share leader.
No.
In Canada.
I don't know if it's my area, honestly, but Uber is definitely more popular in my area.
Yeah, because
you have a market share report in Canada, like just for Canada, like we do here.
I never looked into that.
I think a big thing is Uber Eats is more international. I know every time I've been to Mexico multiple times and ordered Uber Eats. So
you ordered Uber Eats in Mexico?
Yep. Ciudad Juarez, multiple states I've been down there. But yeah,
really?
I mean, I'm this close to the border. I explore Mexico. I'll tell you that much.
Can you order things from the other side of the border too, Tucson? Or you're in Phoenix?
Yeah, I'm sure you probably could. How legal that is? That's the question.
Like, hey, I want this thing from Nogales.
People on the border towns, I'm sure Nogales. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know who's going to drive across the international border to deliver food twice? Even that's a long thing. That's a whole adventure. For those that have never done it, it takes a long time. It's it can be frustrating, annoying, hot. But yeah, that's that was that. The other big thing was the DoorDash is adding more to New York City delivery fees. If anybody's been watching, DoorDash is already manipulating the crap out. It owns that law already.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, we talked about this before when they first did it, but they already own it. Now the law's out there and they're like, okay, yeah, we run the show now. I mean, they're taking it out on everybody. And at first glance, it might appear like, well, wait, why doesn't I don't know, why doesn't,
I'm telling you, it's a big FU to whatever's going on. Like the same thing with like Seattle. Like it's like, okay, you're going to do this. Well, you know what? I'm going to do this and still take control.
Yes. Yeah, so for those of you wondering about Seattle, this is amazing. So Seattle decided that on every order, $4.99, is that what it is? Needs to be the driver has to be paid $4.99. Well, guess what Seattle did? It raised its service fees, its processing fees, and what did it do with the $4.99? You're going to think I'm going to say that it said that the customer has to pay it. It said that the customer has to pay $10 for the new city fee. So they found a way to pay the driver the minimum and make that same amount for themselves.
So crazy.
I mean, you guys watch your legislation. Because this kind of crap, I'm not saying, we got to bow down to them, but this is why legislation in this space is going to be a big problem because they have manipulation ways. Like I tossed out the idea of, the guy who Sergio and I knew in Oregon, the rideshare driver got audited, had to pay $5,000 because he didn't have his list of clients. If you go audit Uber, or how do you audit Uber? How do you audit an algorithm? I mean, like if you go in and say like bust in like gangbusters and say we're auditing this whole company, everybody stand still and okay, the server room's over there. Good luck with the algorithm. Like, I mean, how do you do that? And if you are able to do it, how do they know they're getting at all correct information? The old days of cooking books. This would be you could just create a maze to an audit where they could never get to the information. I don't know. This is where some of that AI and some of the other stuff gets a little scary to me because we're doing it, but we're not thinking ahead into like, well, what happens if we need to audit the company? How do we audit an algorithm? I don't know. They wrote it. They're not going to tell you anything that you need to know. So I don't know. And here we are writing legislation. That was another thing that Scrabble and I were talking about on Ron's stream was that, they haven't defined the space. Now we're getting legislation. And a lot of this legislation, I think it's going to come back and bite people, not only that way, but like setting those kind of amounts and things like, I don't want to work I don't want that New York crap here. And we've got legislation that's being pushed too. It's about to, kind of like New York's. I mean, I don't know how far it'll get. I'm about to start looking into it because I just saw it the other day. I knew that we were going to see something, but I just saw it for the first time the other day, and it's not Stephanie's legislation, that's for sure. Okay. So
Tom just posted a link for the Canadian split. So it says, what food delivery is most popular? Canadians stuck to their very own food delivery service, with around 55% using Skip the Dishes in the last 12 months. It is worth noting that Skip the Dishes was acquired by Just Eat in 2016. Thanks to this acquisition, Just Eat in Canada became the top food delivery choice in 2020. Then it says Canadians also use Uber Eats 46% and Domino's 43%.
You guys like a lot of pizza over there?
We do. We actually do. And Domino's is actually a really popular one. DoorDash it wasn't even in this list. That's why I was very confused.
Wait, what? And what? This is last year?
I'm checking. That's why I want to check the date. May 19, 2023.
Yeah.
So they don't even recognize DoorDash as 1% as of May in 23 in Canada. I mean,
based on this article.
I'm asking you, does that make any sense to you on volume of orders you see on DoorDash?
So honestly, DoorDash is my least, the one that I
know you don't like it. Yeah.
Amount. Well, it's not only that I don't like them. It's just that, it's not good. But
I mean,
tip well,
through. Is it
well?
Here
So there are orders. There are orders coming through. The problem is that the amounts don't really make any sense, and with that whole hidden tip thing, since the DoorDash areas are also very big, so if you're going to get an order that is capped because of the hidden tips, it's not going to be worth it for you. So unless you're a driver that's taken every single order, then yeah, it's going to work for them. But if you're a driver that kind of knows, and if you're on Uber Eats, you're going to see the difference between the two. And yeah, DoorDash it's not it.
Oh, here's you guys. Hey, welcome, Zach. We got a Twitter comment here, or an X comment. Sorry, X. Are you able to request your statistics from DoorDash? How so?
What statistics?
My stats?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Are you asking about our ratings and all that kind of stuff? Because
our ratings are on the app itself, but just depends on what statistics you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so
that's actually pretty interesting. They didn't even include DoorDash.
Yeah, I mean,
DoorDash who? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's again, that's for. I'm not looking at it yet because I can't click these links out of StreamYard. But so that's for all of Canada.
Yes.
I don't think.
I guess I can see that. Maybe DoorDash is only in Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, and a couple others.
Yeah, but those are the big cities, and you would still think I still get orders. It's not like I don't get orders. I actually get less Skip the Dishes orders in my area than I do DoorDash.
Is there DoorDash buzz around you though in Canada with gig workers, or is everybody talking about Uber Eats and Skip?
Everyone is talking about Uber Eats. This one driver a few weeks back, it was his first DoorDash order ever, but he's been on Uber for 2 years. So everyone is on Uber Eats. Everyone is talking about Uber Eats. So I think that's maybe also why, not a lot of people are on DoorDash, I guess.
Yeah, just talking about Zach's questions, I don't even know whether DoorDash even knows the question.
I know these questions. I just went down them. Here's one. How many orders from McDonald's? How many orders?
No,
I mean, you're asking us, and I would happily answer, but I was thinking the same thing as Kim. I'm thinking they don't even know.
I think you'd have to track that yourself.
Not only would they not tell you, they don't know.
Well, Brooke from Twitter also says you guys have issues with tip baiting. I think that's more of an Uber Eats issue. I haven't been tip baited, I'll be honest, in like the past year. So I don't know whether it's getting better, but I haven't been tip baited lately.
And on DoorDash changed their way too, didn't they?
You can't really tip.
Yeah, but you can't remove it. You can add, but you can't remove.
And you need to call. So on DoorDash that becomes a little different.
Yeah.
Even
on Instacart, it really hasn't been an issue really lately either.
Did you see Rick's comment?
I am on chat with UE about service. Escalated my concern. Oh, here, you know what? I can give, you know what? I love doing this anyway every once in a while. This is always a good number to have, you guys, because it gets you to a person immediately. It is, okay. It is technically, let me make sure it's still good. Okay, so can everybody see that number?
No, you might have to.
Yeah, no.
800. Can I say
it?
It
would actually be a really good statistic to find.
6172.
That is Uber's critical safety response line. But if you call it, they don't treat you like, hey, this is safety response, beat it. You will get a person on the phone and they'll say, what's your concern? And you just tell them that. And then if they do ask, why are you calling this number? Be like, I don't know.
But you know what statistic I would actually like to know? And this is really on DoorDash and Uber Eats. Like, how many real active drivers are actually on the platform? Whenever they talk about drivers, we have so millions of drivers, but do they really know how many active drivers they actually have on their platforms?
You mean even if they're not working that day?
No, like active drivers, like
at any given time?
Yeah.
Like right now in your market, how many are active?
Yeah.
I would imagine they can pull that out. I mean, they don't share it. But at this point, they've turned it all over to AI and the algorithm anyway. So could they? No. Could the algorithm? Yeah. I mean, the algorithm and the AI should be able to interface that in under a second. How many people are on in this city?
Tony Hsu on any interview, he's just like, oh, we have, I can't even remember how many millions of drivers. Like, I'm going to make this up, like 15 million drivers. That's really not the number, but 15 million drivers. But like, they only have like 2 million active drivers that are actually using their platform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And also, before I pull this off the screen, Rick, if you do get somebody on the phone, tell them that we're live right now and they're welcome. If it's somebody superior, they're welcome to join in. And I'll put the link up to the live. We'd be happy to have them on the show to roast them.
Yeah.
I don't know, Brooke, why don't we?
We've talked about this a few times, Brooke, is that so there, okay. You know, it's first of all, why are we tipping before the service is the real question. And we've now trained people to do that. So I think the excuse is that, well, I like to tip people big. So maybe somebody always tips $25, let's say. And let's say that, you know, one night the order got screwed up. They always order from the same restaurant. It was supposed to take 30 minutes, ended up taking an hour and a half and 2 phone calls to Uber. All of a sudden they have their normal tip in and they pull it out and they take it out on you, the driver, even though it's not your fault, or not you. If you don't drive, I don't know if you're a customer and you're asking, but they take it out on the driver. You know, it's the same thing as Domino's in like the 80s and 90s when, you know, like you were a delivery yeah, I mean, like if you didn't get that pizza there in 30 minutes, that was out of you. Like you were just working for tips anyway, but that came out of you. So, and then they had to, you know, then there were people killing each other on the road. So they had to end that and say, no, we can't, there's too many car crashes. That's one of the things. Number of active drivers. I mean, you know, yeah. I mean, you know who has here. I'll put it in here. If you guys want to research it, I don't know what the cost would be, but this company, I've worked with them before with Para. I don't know how to spell Argyle. ARGYLE. Is that it? Is that right?
That is pretty much how you spell it.
Is that Argyle? Okay. Argyle.io. I just put it into the chat, you guys. That company can pull data on every gig company there is. We've used them through Para before. They can pull any stat you want, any information. It is costly, but I don't know how they work on, like, maybe there's some simple information you can pull. I don't know.
Interesting.
But they actually have the API to every app in the country, and like more than like a Gridwise or anything. And like they're the ones who supply data to companies like Gridwise and stuff. Like they're the big powerhouse here. Before Tom, I want Tom to take us out, but first I want to talk about one last thing. This is crazy to me. We've known this is going on. Do you guys see that there is a restaurant in San Francisco that operates 70 restaurants?
I was looking at that the other
70
day.
in one location.
That's crazy.
I mean, it is crazy. Like I've heard of, we've seen 2, 3, we've seen Denny's does a couple, and like, what Chili's has crappy wings, so they call their wings something else.
Just Wings or whatever.
Just Wings or whatever. But this one has 70 different storefronts on one address in San Francisco.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it goes on to say, I mean, it's pretty wild too, because what is it called here?
So what, some of them name like Just Pepsi?
Yeah, or Pepsi 1, Pepsi 2, Pepsi 3, Pepsi 4.
What do they have, like a name for every item on their menu? So like if you like, right. I don't know, chicken wings or
70's a lot.
Just water.
Oh, so these are just some of the like if you look up Fresco Pizza, or shawarma and ice cream.
Shawarma.
Right. If you look up any of these locations in San Francisco, all of them are 1338 Polk Street.
Oh my God.
How does these platforms, this is like my biggest issue. Like, how do these platforms allow this to happen? Does anybody see something wrong with this?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's because they figure like it's a restaurant, right? Like you technically,
but
I'm
they
sure
operate
they have all
under
these
the same
restaurants.
address.
Yes, but I think that they're not linking the address. They're just linking the name or the business number or whatever the case might be, but not the actual
algorithm.
address.
Fix your algorithm to figure that out.
Yeah, right.
And that's
exactly.
a simple.
I can't create like 2 accounts and use my address.
Right, that's my point.
Like Uber, like they can't fix this problem of, this address has 90 restaurants in it. It's the biggest.
No, they're getting a percentage off of their business. Why would they stop it?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it
goes on to say too that there are, and it compared it to the hate. So there was a guy who ordered the Chili's hot wings. And you were right, Kim. You said it's just wings, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was where is it? One customer in the story, for example, said he ordered delivery from a restaurant called It's Just Wings, only to have them arrive in a box that said Chili's Bar and Grill. And then he went on to say, I hate Chili's. I know Chili's wings are awful. I would never knowingly order them from Chili's.
They have a point.
I mean, yeah, but that's not okay.
It's not really okay, but that's the point. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, remember the term, maybe some of you don't, false advertising? Like, remember when that was like a big suable thing even?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This to me is clear-cut false advertising.
100%.
Like
I don't see how it's okay.
Okay, like, I'll try that.
Like, how many times do you, I'm making this up, but I'm not, deliver like a chain, like, I don't know what I'm like, Chili's. We'll use Chili's because they ordered it through the app. But then you deliver it as a DoorDash driver. You go to someone's house and they're like, oh, I ordered it through Chili's. What are you doing here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the same false advertising. They're expecting a driver from Chili's, and a DoorDash driver ends up being at their house. And they're like, if I knew it was DoorDash, I wouldn't have, I would have ordered it.
Well, but that's what if you're allergic to something at Chili's in their wings? I'm not saying Chili's has that, but like, what if there's one thing in that item and it's not even that you hate them, you just can't eat them because your face swells up. So you're like, I'll just order this Just Wings. You just ordered the one that.
It's so wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's so dishonest. That's really what it is. It's completely dishonest.
Oh yeah. Of course it is. But the 90 that's why this article, we've known about the ghost kitchens, and and they shouldn't even be called that. The redeployment kitchens or whatever you want to call it. But this is 90 in one location.
And then what's the price like? Like, let's say you order wings from Chili's and it's like $15, but then you order wings from this other place and it's like $20, but it's the same wings.
See, I'm wondering, are they literally like, maybe, I mean, I want to look into this. I want to look into this address, 1338 Polk Street. I know California, or San Francisco, I know Polk Street. But so like, I'm wondering, because that location, I'm not sure by the address number, but could be amazing, centralized. I'm wondering, are they just running all the food to there? Or are they making 90 restaurant foods in one kitchen at 1338 Polk?
Well, I went to pick up one time at this place and they had 10 different ghost kitchens in the one place. You go into one door and then you have the sign for all of these different ghost kitchens. And when I walked in, I was like, wait, huh? And he's like, who are you here for? So then I told him which place, and there's like a cubby. So they bring the food out from the kitchen and they put it in the cubby based on which restaurant it is. But it's all one kitchen in the back. Like, it's just one kitchen. So everyone, depending on what they order, all of the food is there, and it's kind of all the same cooks cooking based on. It was weird.
All I gotta say is I remember, and this is when Boston Market went out of business by me. I don't even think they're in New Jersey anymore, but I remember they had Boston Market, and then they had a ghost kitchen. It was called Rotisserie something. And one day, I was looking at their menu, and I got an order from them. So I go pick it up, and it's the ghost kitchen, and it was like garlic broccoli. And I'm like, they just sell regular broccoli. How are they going to make this different? So I went in to go pick it up, and they were getting it ready. And the only thing they did was take like a shaker of like a mixture and sprinkled it on the broccoli. And here's the special broccoli. And I'm like, this is it. Like, that's what was differentiating their broccoli from Parmesan broccoli. Stupid.
Yeah, no, I mean, wait, was it 7? I keep saying 70. Yeah, 70. Wow.
What was the address again?
Yeah, 1338 Polk Street, San Francisco.
Anybody here from San Francisco?
Well, where I think it is on Polk Street. I'm just saying, I don't think, I mean, it's near them, but I don't think it's a restaurant. I think it's a big room.
Okay. Can I share?
Yeah, you can share the screen.
How do I do that?
You go into...
Is it like 5 square feet?
Share screen.
Running 70 restaurants.
Share. Do you see that?
Yeah. Hold
this
on.
Is it.
Hold on. I got it.
You guys can see this, right?
I was going to call it a shack. You just said way worse than I did.
It's the one next to the yoga studio between Fresh Blades.
It's right here, 1338.
Wait a minute. Can you zoom in on that? I want to see, because it looks abandoned or closed.
Unless it's this thing where the pizza thing is.
No, it says 1338 right there.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, that's the door, yeah.
Oh,
open daily, 10 a.m.
How is that not 70 restaurants, though?
That looks so sketchy. This is the kind of place that I wouldn't even I wouldn't order from there. There's no way I would
you
order
would though,
from there.
because most people who use these apps, unless you've worked them, you wouldn't know. You'd see the
You
restaurant
wouldn't
name
know.
and you just go,
Okay,
oh,
I
that
have a
sounds
question.
great.
I have a question for everybody. As a driver, if you got an order and then you go to this place, do you look at this place and go, no, man, I'm out? Or do you actually proceed going in with the delivery?
That's why I was saying, Ron, Entree Courier once said to me, he's like, you know what? And this was, I think, pre-pandemic or right around the start. It wasn't when things were really getting weird. He said Grubhub is killing it above the others. They were transparent. He said, but what they really need are stations where all the food is run to and then just dispatched from those stations. I mean, for efficiency for the restaurants was the point, because they got so backed up and whatnot. So I'm wondering, because of San Francisco and the traffic and whatnot, maybe they have runners pulling them to this location, pulling in the alley, dropping off a whole batch of, here's this restaurant, here's this.
All I gotta say is, as a driver, if I pulled up to that,
still.
I'd be
that
like,
means it means it's been through multiple hands and multiple cars, and yeah. And also, out of those 70, I would guess that some of them are probably good restaurants. If you show up there, I don't want steak and lobster from that place.
Definitely not.
But okay, so this is just kind of, because I just think it just, we've all felt the weather this week for sure. So I asked Tom if he would lead this article on how Uber, Lyft, Electrify America, EV Go, Tesla, and lack of knowledge led to Chicago's EV disaster. Did everybody saw that, right? All the Teslas that were shut down for days. Tesla charging stations couldn't charge.
Right.
No.
So we learned a very big lesson.
Leave the world behind us.
But Steve, we talked about this more than a year ago.
Yeah.
This is going to be a major issue for the northern states and up into Canada when it comes to trying to charge these batteries, keep these batteries going, all that kind of stuff, that these batteries do not work well in very frigid or very hot temperatures. There's a very narrow band where these batteries work well. That doesn't mean they don't work at all.
But this was, I mean, I know it was really cold. I understand that. But we can't, I mean, what if we did have the infrastructure for the whole country for EV, and which we were nowhere near. Tom and I have talked about that at length too. But then we had all these EVs too. And then the cold blast comes through like this. Do you know that if all the states want us in only EVs, and we're just not there yet. Tom and I have talked many times about why we just skip hybrid. Hybrid was such a good idea, and this is a perfect example of it. Hybrid, there were some cars that these Teslas were getting towed to the charging stations. There were some charging stations that were 500 cars long, and people were sitting in them because it was the only way to maybe get some charge.
Right. No, it was a mess. And one of the news reports I was watching, one of the tow truck drivers was like, I've never made so much money in a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
And all he was doing was picking up Teslas.
But see, this is where, so to Tony, I say, I mean, some of these people in Chicago, when I lived in Michigan, I went to Chicago quite a bit. You drive a lot. So maybe they live in Brookfield, but they work in the city. So that's going to be a whole, what if they just did that and they've got a pattern and it was low, but they don't do gig work like you. And that's their pattern. Like maybe it was only a third left, but that's fine on any given day.
Right.
So, I mean, I see what you're saying about some people that, they should have been charged up and they knew the weather was coming kind of thing. I think the part they didn't know was, nobody told them that, hey, at this temperature, it blacks out the chargers, the cars.
Right. And no, people didn't realize that. And see, if everybody's battery is only getting 40% of what it usually does, then everybody's going to need to hit the supercharger, right? Well, you can't
if everybody's heading there at the same time because they're all experiencing the same problem. Chicago, understand, what is not the exception. This happened all through the North, and it's going to be bad again this coming week too. So it just goes on to prove what we've been saying over and over again. Nobody's ready for this EV revolution that people have been talking about. There is no infrastructure there for this. The whole thing is a sham. It's one of the biggest shams ever put on America.
Wait a minute. Tony, did it happen here too? So for those of you that don't know, Tony and I live in the same market. And he's in Park Meadows is in our market. So I'm like, were the EVs out here too? I didn't know that. I mean, I knew we did get very cold, but I didn't know that they were shut down here. But yeah, guys, the only other thing I had on the docket for tonight was Julie Sue, and I just can't go there. I'll get mad. I'll have nightmares. And there's a lot of shit to talk about. But next week, I had it scrolling at the bottom. This I got right now. But Mike Harubi on here, I'll put it back up there. On January 22nd, Mike Harubi and I will be live at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific on many platforms. New Jobs America, Be My Own Boss. And we will be talking about the independent contractor rule change a little bit. But then later in the week, not a determined day yet, Kim Cavan, her attorney who's representing her fight against the document she wrote, like Kevin Kiley in California wrote one, Kim wrote one in New Jersey, and they're both pushing them. So she has an attorney. So Kim, her attorney, and me will be having a conversation to really bring everybody up to speed on the independent contractor rule change, because it's getting deeper and weirder. But there's challenges in. Kim put a legit challenge in. She's got a lot of people behind her. Kevin Kiley riled up a lot of people on both sides of the aisle. So we'll see what happens. But as of now, it is in place. If you're wondering, is it done? Or, we've heard this kind of thing before. It's not done yet. It is done. It's done. It's done. It's in the books. It's done. March 11th. And technically, from what I've been told from Kim and other people, you can be ticketed now, but they're not gonna until the 11th. So the biggest problem that you guys are going to hear when I talk to Kim next week, because I've talked to her a few times, is the fact that you'll learn a ton. It's not just as easy as this, but it really comes down to a case-by-case basis, a state-by-state basis, and it allows the states to interpret this however the hell they want. And it's basically the first part of you can do whatever you want to these people now in your state. So how I said it the other night when I was on something, where you live. If you live in a state where this kind of crap's going to go down, that. Be involved. I've said it before, be involved. That logo up in the corner above Kim's head is driverrights.org. So you guys hit that up. It's singular, driverrights.org, and add your name. We got 70,000 signatures, and there's a way that in 2 minutes you can just put your email, your zip code, your name in, and it will email your congressman for you. And there's a pre-written letter that it does for you too. So you can go in there and tweak it. You can add to it. You can erase it and type it all yourself. But we've written it out so that it already has basically, I'm a gig worker. I believe in these 4 principles, the right to transparency, blah, blah, blah. I want to be an independent contractor, not an employee. All the things that we want, it's already written out that way, and you'll see it first before you submit it. But it's that easy. We tried to make it that easy so that you guys would do it. And 70,000 of you have. So that's a big number. And that's just over a year to do that. So please get your name up. Hold on. Let me see. What's this last comment? I gotta. Oh, wait, no. 08. Sorry, guys. I needed to pull up one last one. Is it this one?
Yes. So you remember Rick was on hold with Uber?
Oh, yeah. No, and I was watching too, because he was saying What did he say right here? Oh, yeah. I was watching it get escalated, and then it went to here.
Yeah.
Like this was the third thing. And then I told you guys, I mean, like this, it didn't take Drizly shutting down for us to do this tonight. We could have done this 4 months ago to Uber. Rick could have called and escalated this 4 months ago. They still would have done the exact same thing. What they're trying to do is not give him an answer.
Yeah, no one's going to call back.
For all they know, Rick's a reporter too. You know, they do not want to say something like, oh yeah, you definitely need to. Whenever they can, they play that IC card. Dude, you're an IC. That's up to you. Well, if it's up to me, I'm also allowed to use the tools, apps, no acceptance rate. Like if we're gonna be independent contractors, let's be above the board. I'm fine with that. But we can't just play it day by day on the angles you want. That's how I kind of think of it. So with that said,
kind of crazy that they left him there though.
Yeah, no, I mean, what else would they do? I think they hope in those escalations you're just going to hang up. You know, because I think enough of us know, like at some points you just call and you're like, why did I even bother? They're like, we're going to escalate it, and you're like, never mind.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's sad, but that's what I was saying about, you know, customer service is huge and they just don't have it. I mean, but also they really don't want you to know anything. You know, they don't want to say to somebody, even not a reporter, that might put it out there and have other people look into it too. Like, hey, wait, you know, they won't give me a straight answer. Even that, like if you go tweet that, all it takes is going viral for a bunch of people. I mean, I'm in circles with Fight for Freelancers that have 60 attorneys. I should go drop that comment in there. You know, like, I mean, I'm just saying that they're really playing with fire at a time when they're going to be sued, legislation, all kinds of things. Seems like it might be time to like pause on the whole liquor thing for a minute, even though you paid a lot of money for that, Drizly. Just saying. But that's the way of Uber. And so it is. But you guys, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm glad we didn't have to get into too much of the Julie Sue stuff, because next week, again, there will be Mike and I, and then sometime later in the week, Kim and I will be doing that thing. So there'll be two things. And between those two, I've been really spending a lot of time putting what's going to what. And so I think between the two, we'll have it all as described as you can at this point. Because Kim and I have talked a few times. She has it more understanding than anybody have talked, than the lawmakers themselves. But that's how she always is. But she's definitely like that on this one. She has it down more than she's telling lawmakers who voted on it. That kind of shit. She's like, do you know what you voted for? Yeah. Do you? Because you voted for this. Wait, no, yeah, you did. You know, and so she's explaining to him, she's showing him. Like, it just goes to show we have a bunch of morons running us. But that's a wrap. Thank you for joining us. Until next week, earn safe, be smart. Peace, y'all, and good night.
Stay warm.